Laurie Huston's News for the Heart is dedicated to helping you give a voice to your own soul. Our hearts have the power to free us from pain and the struggles that keep us from awakening to our true essence. Join Laurie now as we delve into our heart and soul to find the path that will open us to the possibilities and lead us to the life we love to live.
And good afternoon. This is News for the Heart. Welcome back. It is a new year. Awesome. we love having a new year. And we have David Watson with us, who is a channeler for the Willows. We're going to chat a little bit about the Willows, about how he does deep trance channeling. And then we're going to do a New Year's message, which I always love. And then we'll probably bring him back and we'll just chat a little bit more about some of the things that are going on. So welcome to the show, David. We love to have you back here, and we'll probably be doing shows every 2 to 3 months. So, yay!
As you choose. I'm always happy to share. It's a wonderful medium and a good opportunity to allow us to communicate in a positive and benevolent way. I think is the best way.
Love it. All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the Willows, and let's take it from there.
Well, the Willows themselves are what's I guess commonly called a soul group, and I'm part of that soul group. People say, "How many are in the soul group?" And they used to say, "Oh, hundreds of thousands," and that sort of thing. And right now, every time I go into trance, I feel like the soul group is the universe. It's like I step right into it, And actually, it's hard to step out of it. Mostly, I'm in that place all the time. It's kind of like going down the rabbit hole and never figuring out how to get out of the warren, Yeah. But the fact is, it's a good place to be. But what it does is it gives me a chance to take my conscious mind, my ego and my opinions and all that other stuff, and put them to one side and allow the higher part of who I am to just come through in an easy and effortless way. It gives me a really good opportunity to put unfiltered information into the world, and it has people have used it over the years as I've done it. I actually learned how to do it through an old friend of mine who since crossed over, Cliff Preston. He channeled the Echo, and I saw him doing that many years ago, and we just hit it off. That was all there was to it. So he was channeling. I told him I'd like to learn, and he said, "How about now?" I went, "Well, yeah." So off I went. But I've been meditating for years, and it wasn't hard to get into a deeply relaxed state and to just kind of let the mind go a little bit and just kind of hang in there and allow yourself to just drift, And when that happens, we open to another state of mind. The feeling you get when you're just about ready to fall asleep at night, or you're listening to a very boring thing with a bunch of people, and you start listening and start zoning out. Oh, and you kind of go somewhere else for a second. You go, oh, you come back. That's kind of what it's like when you go into trance to do it. Only I'm sitting up and I'm not worried about where I'm going because I'm always where I am,
So,
but getting into that state it's an altered state of consciousness. And I've called it deep trance or channeling. And the source that I connect with is the same as Edgar Casey. We all connect to that, the other side, of consciousness, and it's really quite amazing. It really is. So when I go there, it gives me an opportunity to just, as I say, I'm already going there. By the way, what are my words? Let me think for a second. But going into that state is something that brings a lot of truth out, a lot of focus into the world. Been doing it for 40 odd years now. I must be doing something right. People keep coming back, And the nice thing about it is that it doesn't feel like work. every time I go into a trance, every time I do the work, I come out and I just feel like rejuvenated and energized, which of course we should, because when we do that kind of work, we become more directly in consciousness with source energy. I mean, we are all source energy, living in source energy, but that's a subject for another conversation at a different time. But at that point, it's just good to know that it's nice to be able to blend into that totality, and it's a great feeling, and it's also good just for the fact that it's given me the opportunity to understand that we are not just here for a lifetime. This is part of a cycle in being here, and each part of the cycle, if we are wise enough to open it, appreciate what's happening, becomes a very significant and important part of our life. So by the time we get to the last part of our cycle, we have the opportunity to reflect on the life that we're in, reach out and help others, pass on useful information to those who are just arriving, and generally, keep to help and manage the truth of life around us. So I find that's very good. I know it's a little bit vague,
Not big.
but the truth is that it is vague because I'm not here when I'm doing it. So it's kind of hard to describe that in great terms. What else would I say about the Willows? Well, we answer questions on everything from health issues to relationships, to political pundits, to religious beliefs, to spiritual matters, and in everything in between. And there's no such thing as a bad question or a small question, because everything is important. If we need an answer, it's always good to get an impression of what another aspect of consciousness has to share with you at that moment. It's never meant to tell you what to do, which is what I like about the Willows. It's meant to put us into a place of self direction. I think is the best word I would use. Not control, but direction. Because we don't control what we're doing and what's going on around us, but we are in charge of it. But and we have to direct it and manage it. So that's kind of what that's really allowed me to do, and that's what they share with the world to us: how to manage your day-to-days in a productive and introspective way, and how to live life from the inside out, which is the best way to live it. Those of us who live life from the outside in, we suffer from anxiety and depression. I can't change these things. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, there you go. It really brings a lot of emotional worry into our source and fear, and we don't operate well in that. Not at all.
No,
not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my little run on it. I just think that they often talk about the Akashic records. I was told in trance at one point that I was guardian of the Akashic, and I think most channelers are. We're guardians of the Akashic, and that means we honor it, respect the information. The Akashic record is kind of like the place where everything that ever happened, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the mistakes, all the fears, everything is in a collective consciousness. And that's the Akashic record. It's like a giant library of our history and our abilities. So quite an interesting place to dip into and grab information out of. When I was a kid, I used to work at the old Toronto Telegram. And I remember the first day I was there, they sent me down to the morgue. And the morgue was what they called the place where they stored all their photo files. And it was enormous. I mean, now it's all done on computer, but back when I was a kid, it was like, 60 years ago. No, it's 55 years ago when I started there. Yeah, well, that's how we looked at things, looked at photographs. And that's kind of like my way of how the Akashic records work. You enter into this place and you got to go looking. oh, look, somebody put it under C instead of K or whatever. But they find it and present the information as accurately or as they perceive it. Well, that's always interesting to get that kind of information out into the world. Come from the universal storage house of knowledge and being. And what's interesting is the Akashic also doesn't include just our human experience. It includes the wisdom of the universe itself. And that's fascinating in itself. It truly is. And we're all privy to that. People often ask me about channeling, and they say, "Well, what is it about?" And I'll say, "Well, kind of what I'm telling you now." But I then let them know that everyone channels. And they go, "Oh, I don't know how to channel," and I will then point out that they're channeling themselves. They're a physical being channeling a consciousness, and an energy that is us. We feel it. That's why we do energy work, because we're part of that rhythm and that energy of the universe itself. So just being you, wondering where your ideas come from, you're having a conversation, how you can follow it and then contribute to it. You didn't even know what you were going to say before you said it, that kind of stuff. So that's what we do. That's channeling universal consciousness and wisdom that is directly available to us. And we don't remember it all when we get here. Some of us do. There's things you can find on YouTube these days about young kids who lived during the Second World War, went down in a plane and what have you, and started telling their parents about it when they were like infants. And then parents checked it out. It usually happens to divinely religious and Christian folk, more. So it opens their eyes to the fact that kids aren't going to lie; they tell you the truth, and they're aware of the continuation of the energy of who they were. So it's fascinating when you begin to start following that aspect about what we are made of. We are, and the Willows say, and so do so many other people as well, is that we're not physical beings on a spiritual journey. We're spiritual beings on a physical journey. So that's the name of the game down here. And boy, do we have a lot of questions. That's also why the Hindus call this level of consciousness samsara, which is defined as a sea of suffering, because life has a lot of suffering in it.
As we grow up, I think eventually at some point, maybe we'll evolve past I don't know what we evolve past the ego. I think the ego just grows with us instead.
Maybe we could evolve past the need to suffer. Yeah,
that part I hope.
Because that's what I work on. And the need to suffer means, what do we hold on to? What do we hold on to? The only moment we can live is now. And if we choose to bring something from the past that allows us to suffer physically or mentally or emotionally, then what are we thinking about? We're not moving ahead. We're trying to push against, change. Let's face it, the only thing I can depend on personally in life is change, because everything else changes, right? So that puts me in the in that part of the field. So I think those are important parts we have to begin to learn and manage for ourselves. And for anybody out there who is interested in channeling, I'm always happy to coach a little bit and just call me up on the phone. I'm usually, if I'm not available, I always get back to you, leave a message. And I'm always delighted to talk to people about that, because I'm at the time of my life where it's very important that I share what I do with other people and make sure that they understand it isn't something that's only I can do.
Right.
It wasn't something only Edgar Casey could do, or Cliff Preston, or Michael Blake Reed, who channeled the Evergreens, real honest to God channelers, So I think these people are the people that I had the chance to meet and to have as role models to do what I do, and to realize, if you're doing this kind of thing, you can't become overwhelmed with your ego, like, oh, look what I can do, like, so what, it's anybody can do it. But right now, I took the time to learn how to do it. You took the time to learn how to be a brain surgeon or an accountant or whatever you decide to be in your life, And so that was my direction, but it also helped me in other ways in my life, and my sense of self-worth and understanding and all that other cool stuff that comes along with being here.
Right. I feel a workshop coming. We're going to do it online. We're going to teach people how to channel. What do you think?
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. That's going to be good for a couple of lunches at least, you know.
For sure.
So yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
All right. So
who better to be the director and producer of it
well,
than yours?
I'm there for it. So let's do it. All right. So let's bring in the Willows. Let's play a little bit and then we'll bring you back.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
I need a bit of a rest. Okay, here we go.
Yes, we've been talking too long.
Wasn't from that. It's 5 o'clock in the morning with an older dog with
Oh, right.
with aging bladder, you know. we
Yeah.
don't. So that's where my day starts. And of course, once I got that, we got 2 puppies as well.
Yes.
Oh, so they don't go back to sleep. They oh, you're moving around. Watch this, you know. So anyway, here we go. Yes, we're here now. How may we be of service at this time?
The Willows. I feel like I haven't talked to you in a very long time. And I know that we've had David on a couple times, but we didn't bring you on. So now I thought, beginning of a new year, let's bring the Willows on. So welcome to the show, because I feel like, well, I've always felt very close to you guys. So I hope that we can have more of these discussions. But it is the new year. I thought we would start with maybe a little bit of a New Year's message from you. I feel in my intuition that 2026 is a little bit about just letting go of the past. And I know that that's a whole process in itself. Letting go is not easy. However, that's kind of my vision of what's been happening. But I know that there's other stuff. And I am open to hearing, and so is News for the Heart, open to hearing from whatever it is that you feel the focus of 2026 is going to be about.
Well, there's so many ways to figure it out. There's the focus of people outside of you and the focus of yourself inside. And if you really want to know about what's going to happen this year or any other year for that matter, look inside and say, what would I like to see happen? Not, oh, I'd like to win the lottery, or it would be great if this happened or that happened, or this did happen or didn't happen. But rather, what am I going to do inside of myself? And those changes are most important because with the world that you're living in this day and age, it's most important that you develop the practical aspect to become what we refer to as a critical thinker.
I like that.
And critical thinking is indeed what is something we could all practice. Critical thinking means that you look at something and you don't accept it for what it is, but you investigate it. You try to see it from a different perspective. If it creates an emotional problem for you or activity, you can then begin to take a step back and say, well, critically speaking, maybe that other person's having a bad day, or they don't understand what life is about, or they're asleep at the wheel, or they were hurt by their parents, or somebody they were growing up and they're taking it out on the rest of the world. You know, there's so many things that you can begin to look at with critical thinking. So it allows you to interact and work with the world around you without feeling like you're out of control. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So by doing this and understanding the critical thinking, and if you're not sure about what critical thinking is, it means thinking, not just accepting other people's opinions. Many of you over the last few years have found it easier to listen to people and say, oh, that's a good idea. That's a good way of looking at things. That's not a good way of looking at things. It's what to do or not to do, yes? But at the end of the day, you're getting that from outside of yourself. And are you sure if that's right or wrong? You don't know. But because there's enough people around you that believe it, you have a tendency to go with that belief system. Well, of course, this is the year which you turn around and say, if I find I've been doing that, what I would really like to do is start thinking about what's going on around me. Because to be frank, many of the things that I have been told in the last few years have just turned out to be not true at all.
Mm.
And we're not talking about conspiracy theories. We're just saying, critically speaking, critically looking at things, when you're told something, such and such is going to happen this time, it's not going to happen, or you're promised something, and it doesn't happen, or it doesn't go where you'd like it to, or it should be, or they promised you it would do, you have to take a step back and say, well, then obviously this is something I cannot trust about another. Their word, so I don't need to listen to what they have to say. I watch what they do, and then I begin to learn about what I need to do in order to maintain my own equilibrium, my own integrity as a human being, and to truly get into a place where I truly love and respect myself in all that I do. Because when you can do that, it's much easier to love and respect the people in your life, and those about you who are with you, from significant others to just casual people that you meet in the grocery store. It's called the respect of others by respecting yourself. You see?
Yes.
And as the Old Testament said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which is pretty much that philosophy in a nutshell. You see? But this is the year of practicing this. Using your mind to make decisions, using your mind to make the ability to make things truly happen, and to put you into a place of knowledge, and to put you into a place of movement in your life to make things change. Because when you're in this state of critical thinking, then things start to make sense for you, even the things that are not going so well outside of it. It gives you a perspective that allows you to feel balanced, grounded in the circumstances you're in. So that's first for this year. We're going to tell you, people always like to ask at this time of the year about predictions. We're going to predict that Canada is not going to become the 51st state of the United States. We're going to predict that Venezuela is going to be getting out of this conundrum they've been placed into. We're going to predict that Greenland is quite safe, as is Norway, Denmark, Great Britain, the rest of the world, from the machinations of a very mentally ill human being who is in control of the political system in the USA, where he has all of these things and must be pitied, not feared. But because of the fact that he has people who are handlers for himself, you have to be careful about what to think and to understand, and using your own critical thinking to understand he can't do any of the things he says he's going to do because he can't fight the world. There's far more people in the world than there is of him and those who support him. Far more. So they can't win, and they're not going to. So it's these things here you must look at and say sensibly, oh, that's right. They can't get everybody and start fighting everybody. They're not that powerful, and they're not. And the fact of the matter, neither is Russia or China. No one country is powerful enough to control the rest of the world. You humans are far too, shall we say, individualized to allow that to happen. So that's also what's going to be happening. So what else is going to be happening? Well, you're going to have challenges, but you'll grow through the challenges and bring yourself back into a place of feeling, again, at peace with yourself. So the changes this year are going to be political, but not so much in Canada, but in the United States. So be aware and ready for that. And don't be shocked.
Right. From your lips to God's ears, right?
Indeed. But the fact of the matter is that it is this aspect that you must know. Be confident within yourself. And know that the things you have happening in life around you are things you want to hold and maintain as a truth in your life. So that your opinion, your philosophy, your intention, your needs are coming forward into the world and are being satisfied because you're not allowing other things to dissuade you or make you want to run away from just living your life.
Right.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
When you have so many things on your mind, that is why in the United States, for example, there are so many things they are doing at this time to confuse people. Something different every day. We're attacking Venezuela. We're going to attack Greenland. We're putting troops into these cities. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're going to take away all their benefits for medical care and bankrupt families across the country. See? That's what they appear to be doing. But at the end of the day, the people are not going to allow them to do this. And you will see that these things are going to be changing very quickly. That's a good start to the year. That means you can get back to living the life you choose to live.
Right.
So we would suggest for this year, make a short list, not of a wish list, as if you need to have New Year resolutions, because all you need to do, the only thing you need to resolve to do is to keep breathing. See, you do that for sure, you're going to be here, because that's the only only reason for death on this planet. Yes, you run out of breathing. You don't stop breathing. See, that's it. Lack of oxygen. So you're already here. You're doing this thing, and you're having this life of your own, and it's a good one. It's a good one in this part of the world. You're not being obstructed, even though there are certain right-wing political news sources that are telling you that you're being mistreated. See, but of course, as usual, they have no viable solution and no way to help you do it or change things in a positive way. So, if things aren't right in your society, go to your MP and start lobbying. That's how it works. That's your right. It's in this true social democracy that you live in. So be thankful for it. It's a good year to express a lot of gratitude for being here in your country of Canada. You do not have a madman running the country.
No.
You have some angry men who'd like to run your country right now, but they aren't fitting the bill for you this year. So work with what you have brought and wrought within you, and have faith in it. Because this slow and steady focus that your own Prime Minister is offering in this time is much needed at this time to keep a level head. See? And it's a truth of life. When all others around you are losing their heads, you have to maintain your own stability. See? Mm-hmm. That's your human being. Is don't panic. Don't run. Don't allow fear to come into your life. What's the worst thing that could happen? You'd lose your life. Right. Well, we have news for everybody here. None of you makes it out of this one alive, you see. And it's not up to you to determine what's going to happen in that sense. But if the need arose or the situation arose, we guarantee you would do it with elegance, grace. But that is crossing, yes, and without fear, because there is nothing to fear. So if you lose the fear here at the end of life, and see begin to look at it as a new way to evolve spiritually in your eternal journey, then it's a good way, because that way you can live this life more effectively. So this is the year of truly living in the moment. Which is the subject of what we were talking about. When you live in the moment, you cannot be unhappy. You cannot be depressed, because you're not living in the past. Oh, I should have, could have, would have done that. Oh, that gets depressing after a while. Or if you're anxious all the time, then you're worried about living in the future where things haven't happened yet, and it's uncertain, and you'd like them to be a certain way. So you begin to grow a wishbone instead of a backbone, trying to figure out how to go there, and all that does is make you anxious. Because it's not wishes that are going to come true that will make your life true. It's action that you take in the moment, which brings us back to the moment, which is where you would benefit most from living and expressing yourself in this year. So it's a moment of individuation. This is your year to individuate, to find your core, to let go of your fears, and to embrace a lifestyle that makes you feel fulfilled and joyful. And what one is that? Well, we can't tell you. Figure out which one it is for you. It's your life. And if each of you are following a personal inner goal for joy, and we're not talking about self-indulgence. That's not joyful. Actual fact, after a while, it gets boring. But joyful. Think of the things that make you joyful. Take it on a piece of paper and write, what makes me joyful? What makes me happy? What do I need to trust myself? When you ask these questions of yourself, you start becoming more self-aware. The more self-aware you become, the more the critical thinking becomes a part of your day-to-day process. So, this is what 2026 is here to do. Don't worry about sunspots. Don't worry about crazy dictators of the parts of the world. Don't worry about anything. Focus on the moment. Focus on what you need now. What do you need right now?
I like it. And just a side note, when you say critical thinking, that does not mean judgment or being critical. It means
critical thinking means that when a crisis arises, you can think clearly.
Right.
And it's not the things that you would be thinking at the same. Oh, it's negative. It's a very positive thing because it puts you into a place where you're no longer emotionally attaching yourself to the circumstances around you. It allows you to remove yourself from the moment and see the bigger picture. And it's not an easy thing to acquire, but it's not hard to practice. When people just look and read a little bit about what critical thinking truly is, what it can mean to individuals, they will feel quite happy about practicing some of the techniques that are there, which include accepting change and embracing change, in fact, because it's the only thing you can depend on, because, of course, everything else changes, yes?
Yeah.
Stopping trying to control everything and start taking charge of your life and directing it, not trying to control people around you and circumstances and everything else, because you always become very deeply disturbed by the outcome of this, because after a while you begin to feel hopeless and helpless because you learn you don't control anything. And in fact, we'll tell you, there is nothing in your life that you ever have around you that you can ever control, not even yourself or your body. But you can direct it and you can take charge. It's not the same. Once you learn how to take charge, it gives you far more flexibility in your thinking process and allows you to go places in your mind in order to do problem solving. Mm-hmm. That's a critical, which is one of the tools of critical thinking, you see? Very simple, straightforward things. Developing empathy. In other words, seeing the other person's point of view. That's a critical thinking process. It stops you from criticizing other people. And while, you would say, some would say, oh, you're just making up excuses for them. It's not a matter of making up excuses for others. It's a matter of appreciating the fact that they're being driven by powers that they're totally unaware of consciously. So they can be obnoxious or destructive or hurtful. You see? Mm-hmm. But it's only up to you to accept the things that they do as destructive, hurtful, etc. You know? Mm-hmm. If you choose not to, and you're critical thinking, you'll say, well, so I understand this. I can't hate them for it. I can't be angry about it. All I can do is send them my best wishes, which is something else critical thinking involves. Sending love and understanding that love is the only answer, no matter what the situation, no matter what.
Amen.
You see? So under these circumstances, you can't go wrong, because after all, as we always are happy and eager to tell people is that the world and everything around you is created from love. That's the energy of the universe. Albert Einstein said that, and he put it in a letter that was published years after his passing, in a letter to his daughter. He said the real energy in the universe is love. It's the true thing that brings everything together. From the disconnected electrons, apparently, as your science likes to pretend exist, into atoms, and then into the imaginary molecules that stick together and create elements that then come together. What are these elements? There's just these little molecules. Well, how does this work? But it's all drawn together by electromagnetic energies that are in fact love-based. And why do we say this? Because when we realize that we begin to look at the values, the beliefs that we value the most in life, and the feeling we value the most and seek the most is love, approval, caring. Love is the highest one. And of course, it's the original one. That's why it's the highest. And that feeling you feel is not just love for another person.
No.
No, it's a greater love. And that love begins with the love for being alive and the sense of gratitude for being here on this plane, you see. When you have that going for you, indeed, it makes you much happier, and it begins to bring you into a place where you feel in charge of your life. And you feel confident in yourself. And you actually not only love yourself, but just as importantly, like yourself. You know, people will say, oh, I love you, but sometimes I don't like you.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse just to say, oh, well, love isn't the only answer. But it is. And if you love everybody, you can't help but like yourself. And you can't help but like them. You don't have to want to associate with them. You don't have to want to follow their belief systems. But if you put that energy out to others, then you'll never have anybody try to resist you and your energy. Because how do you feel when someone tries to control you? You push back, yes?
Of course.
Well, of course. No one likes to be controlled, but everyone wants to control, you see? So you have a conundrum. That's duality. But when you remove that and use the word taking charge, or the phrase taking charge, rather than taking control, taking charge allows you to take charge of your feelings about it, and then to turn around and practice love, practical and ongoing and caring way. This is your choice and your gift for this year. There's a lot of energy around, so to speak, that's open for this. There's a lot of loose energy in the world right now that holds a lot of fear. You see, it holds a lot of anger. See, and hatred. So these are the feelings here that you need to look at and say, well, that energy is around me. I feel it. It's like living in a sauna with a bad smell. And there it is. And it's every day. You're breathing it in and out. But with critical thinking, it allows you to look at that and say, oh, I don't own that. I didn't create that. It's not mine. But I am willing to challenge it. And I am willing to balance myself and direct my emotional body with these circumstances around me, so I am no longer controlled by these situations.
Right.
See, to do that, then you're always moving into the right place, and it gives you an opportunity to have greater strength, which is a fine mind, and of course, critical thinking.
Right. I love it. I think about, I've written so many things about control versus being in charge, and it's taken me a long time to sort of separate the two out. And I think, well, for a long time now, but I believe I understand that concept more, where we can't be in control of anything, like literally nothing.
Possible.
Being in charge to me means looking at our emotional reaction to situations, which I think seems almost an immediate thing based on our fears. And then when we say, okay, wait a minute, let me be in charge of this, means I can actually choose how I want to feel about a certain situation. So if I don't like it, I don't have to be, it's like something happens, which things are happening all the time. We react, and then we get an option or a choice to say, wait a minute, do I want this situation to control how I feel in my life? And if we ask that, and a lot of people try to say, well, we don't have control of that, or I'm not in charge of that. I can't change how I feel about a situation. It's like, well, That's actually the only thing we are in charge of. It's the only thing we can do.
Changing your feeling is very simple and easy.
Right.
You see, very simple. You can do it instantly, anytime. Here's what we suggest. Let's say you're angry and you're raging about something, or you hate somebody because of something they've done, either to you or the world, and you start to obsess with it, which is a typical human ability that you have to become OCD about things. You see, and in this you can't get it out of your mind, and it's stuck, and it's stuck. So when you're feeling of that, we would say, now that you're in a sane moment, you say, well, what about how I feel? How do I know how to feel? If I'm super angry and I'm out of control, what do I need to do? And all you need to do is just take a moment and say, well, I'd like to remember what it feels like to be happy. And you say, oh, my emotions won't let me get there. And you say, really? Well, who owns your emotions?
Mm-hmm.
So if you own your emotions, then you know for a fact that you can remember what it feels like to be happy. We're not saying you need to be happy. We're asking you to remember it. But the moment you remember something, which is the beautiful thing about memory, you bring the whole event and feeling into that moment. If you're angry and you want to beat somebody up, think about a time when you felt peaceful and completely at one with the world. It's amazing what happens to your anger the moment you start even imagining that you could do this, never mind doing it. That's the power of the mind. Whatever the mind believes and conceives, it achieves. Very simply put. You see? That's the words of Andrew Carnegie over 150 years ago. Mm. It's very important in understanding these things in your own life that your emotions don't control you. Yes, your emotions are usually coming from a reactive state. But the moment that happens, you just have to stop and say, oh, I see. I'm reacting. What do I need to do to act? Taking action and taking reaction. Well, taking reaction means you go crazy. Taking action means you take choice. You take charge. You make choices. And you begin to use your own natural intuitive thinking, critical thinking, to straighten things out. And you can change the circumstances and your emotional body very quickly inside of it by taking this kind of a very simple thinking process into account. Just remind yourself, ask yourself, what does it like to feel happy? Or remember what it felt like when I was joyful? Then you don't have to have a specific time. See? Oh, when was the last time I was happy? Well, maybe not for you. But you know what it feels like to be happy. Yes. So you go there. And that's what brings the emotion into reality in that moment that you're experiencing something else. Make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Very simple.
Yes.
Easy peasy.
Well, let's say it's very, very simple.
What you need to do is practice before you get into those states. Just sit down one day for about 5 minutes and say, what does it feel like to be angry? Oh, it doesn't take long to get there. What does it feel like to be sad? Well, you know what that feels like. What does it feel to feel happy and joyful? What does it feel like to feel grateful? You see? What does it feel like to be and hold love in your mind, in your heart? When you can ask those things, and it's not like you're trying to pull it in and say, oh, I have to feel love. It's not asking you to feel those things. We're just asking you to remember what it felt like. That's all. Simple.
Simple. Yes.
Sometimes it's very difficult to get there emotionally because some people don't love themselves. They haven't had that ability to be loved. And if that's the case, tell them to call you or us or Dave. You know, we'll help you out. But that's the average person doesn't need that help. The average person is pretty much in charge of themselves and is very good at decision making. But making choices based on your emotional body is really not a good state. You see, unless of course your emotional state is one of fulfillment, personal satisfaction.
Right.
We're already working with love in that moment. That's the attitude to hold, and that's the place to be emotionally when you are living your life consciously, on purpose.
Yes. I love it.
Neat.
Well, I think we're complete, and we'll bring David back and we'll talk a few things and then we're good. But thank you very much for coming.
Well, we thank you for this opportunity. We hope that what we shared will be of benefit to those about you. We suggest to anybody listening to this, stop worrying, start acting, start loving yourself, and start feeling gratitude for having the ability to be consciously aware and observational and connected with the world about you. No matter how good or bad it appears to be in that moment, you have a miracle of consciousness to be on this plane, in this time and place, experiencing this, whatever it is in that moment. That's the beauty, the magic of physical existence in this sense here. So with this in mind, we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to bring this into your minds, into your hearts and your souls. We ask that you go in peace, love, joy, and harmony. You continue to walk on the path of the masters. For in truth, each of you is the master of your own life. We send you great blessings here. We release the form.
Welcome back. Yes, your hands were moving a wee bit. We moved the moved the phone slightly, but we're good. So, would you like to give your impressions? I know I can tell you some of what we talked about for sure.
I think my impressions were that they talked about something that a lot of people are experiencing right now, and that the information needs to be processed. You know, you can't just go out and do it.
Right.
And you can practice it. You want to listen to this, think about it a little bit, play it back, and listen again, and then you'll practice.
Right.
The best way to do it, because when you act and behave like that, you are, performing critical.
Yes.
I do believe.
You got it. I think, well, so my message was around letting go of the past. Your message, or the Willows message, is around being very present. I think both of them, well, one helps both of them or both of them help each other. But yeah, I think it's really important that we take those moments and just sort of breathe into them and say, wait a minute, am I stuck in the past? Am I worrying about the future? Or can I be present right now and just be?
Exactly. And, my choice is, I like being here. I like having these moments. They're not always pleasant, but they're always challenging. And at the end of the day, it's wonderful to be able to address them without being emotionally attached.
Right.
I used to worry about things. Things happened to me. It was like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? What's going to happen here? Oh my God. So I stopped doing that. I don't know, quite a while ago. And started working on looking at things and saying, stuff happens. It does. So I say shift happens, to be polite about it. That's what it is. It's all about shift. It's all about the change that happens to us on a daily and even, momentary basis, moment to moment, And I think that's the thing we have to focus on most, and to feel that gratitude, to feel that thankfulness, and to feel and accept the wisdom we have within ourselves to practice it, because I think we're all pretty wise guys, so to speak. And I think if we trust ourselves, we have some confidence in who we are and how we integrate, think about others, and do with our life. Well, then I think, just move that. Hold on this way. Here we go. We'll have to get the right position. But those are the kind of things that are to me the most important. So those are kind of my impressions, I guess.
Yeah.
I've got my opinions. What's your take on Paul?
The only other thing I would bring in, which everything you said, is just that we have choices. We feel like we're stuck. We feel like we're out of control. We feel like everybody else has a piece of us. But it's our choice as to how we want to respond to it. It's our choice on where we want to take it. And it's our choice to shift.
Well, that's the whole thing about choice, isn't it? Really about that. You know, when we try to control things, we can only use the control mechanisms that are there. They don't really give us a solution, and they create anxiety and all that stuff, But when we're taking charge, that's just what you said there, that we actually have infinite choices. And that's what's important. We have to have the ability to be creative, versatile, and flexible in our moment-to-moment experiences. When we can do that, I mean, flexibility is key to our existence.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we go with the flow, then we can think along the way, and that's it. I mean, if you're on the sea of suffering, maybe it might be a good time to swim over to the shore, chop a couple of trees down, tie them together, and make a boat, get out there and push ourselves around and ride on the sea. And we discover it's not a sea of suffering; it's a sea of transportation, transformation, to allow us to go through the human experience and come out with a deeper sense of life and our truth and how to live in a positive and productive, progressive way. That's what I believe.
I like that too.
Taking charge, taking control. I'd rather take charge any day of the week. What I suggest to those who have trouble with it, take charge of being in control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good idea. Think about that one first. But these are all very simple things to do, and I'll tell you personally, in my life, it's created a tremendous amount of happiness and peace, and it allows me to do the things I do and share what I do with other people, to practice what I can, give love and caring, and without having, a hidden agenda.
Mm.
And those of you who are worried about having a hidden agenda, wanting to be healthy, happy, and live a joyful life is not being covert. Gosh darn, eh? A lot of people figure, I can't do nice things for myself. I can only do them for other people, So if I do something nice for myself, I feel guilty.
Right.
Like I'm doing something against the law. But it's only against your belief system. So when those things happen, you just ask yourself, where the hell did I learn that? Who taught me that? And usually it was somebody in the family when you were little, try and control you, That's how we manage to do things in that way. It's our languages and how we do speak to each other. But I always look at it and say, if anybody ever accused me of wanting to control them, I'd look at them and say, hey, look, I got enough trouble with looking after myself. Okay, that's a biggie for me. Me wanting to control you, you got to be kidding. That's your job.
Yeah.
Not mine. So that's always keeps me in the right place, so I don't forget and remain some degree of humility to my journey. That's for sure.
Yes. I think some of us struggle with that whole concept, but ultimately, I think we get to that place, I hope most of us do, where we don't have to react. We can respond. We can choose differently. We can embrace and be grateful for everything around us. And it really does shift the energy. And I really hope even though there were some predictions that felt, actually, all the predictions were pretty good. I don't like getting into politics. It's just that ever since COVID, I feel like we've been being divided. And
well, it was intended to do that.
Yes,
that was intended to do that.
Yeah.
Of course, to divide us and to stop us from being independent. We were having a wonderful world before then, so they needed to do something that would be a tremendous change.
The last hurrah, I hope.
Well, you could say that, but I mean, that's a pattern interrupt, classic from hypnosis. And when you do a pattern interrupt with somebody, you just change all the parameters. And suddenly, what happens is that person's normal day-to-day life just
Right.
freezes, and they don't know what to do next. So they go into a state of shock or anger, or whatever the emotion that comes up. And then in that state, they're unable to move or think. So then they turn on their TV or their radios or their computers and ask, what should we do? And the very people who are out there telling you about this say, well, we got some ideas. Let's try it. Let's try a vaccination that we never used before. You know, let's throw the handrails out on scientific research and give you something that is, you know, we weren't having a lot of luck with using on animals, but you know, humans, of course, better than that. And the next thing we know, we got the mRNA vaccines out there with COVID spikes in them that were supposed to help us heal. And I'm sorry to say, you know, it hasn't helped us. I never had the vaccinations. People ask me, well, how come you didn't? You know, at the time, people go, "Oh, you're not a very good citizen." I looked at them and said, "It's not a matter of being a good citizen. It's a matter of, you know, being somebody who needs to be thinking about myself. To be honest, I don't have enough information on this particular drug. All the other ones I do. You know, you go to the drug company, they'll give you the 3 to 6 years of research they did and all the tests they did, but they haven't done any human tests on this vaccine. It's a shot in the dark. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
may as well give them some of the people the bleats that Trump was suggesting you make them drink so they can kill the COVID. I mean, come on. You know, like, you got to think about stuff like this and say to yourself, what was it about? And what it was about was freezing us and resetting our social and world situation. It wasn't what they said it was. It's still not. There's no such thing like the bubonic plague that comes through right now. There's not. And we're not going to get it because, you know, we don't have a lot of rats and fleas out there anymore, you know? I mean, certain parts of the world I know we do, but, you know, the other parts, we're pretty clean. Shower at least once a month, you know, so keeps you clean.
Right.
But I think it's that stuff that really and truly reset. When you do a reset of the population like that, you create, and they did it by creating dissension. They divided people.
Yeah.
The anti-vaxxers, they called. I was an anti-vaxxer. I'm going, hello? What do you mean I'm an anti-vaxxer? How do you know? Did you ever ask me? Because I'm not an anti-vaxxer. You know, I believe that some of the vaccines we have prevented childhood illnesses and stopped so many different things for us, and took those. Well, unfortunately, in parts of Canada and the U.S. right now, where they're not supporting or providing measles vaccines.
Right.
They're having measles arise again, and measles costs physical damage. It causes mental damage, and it causes death. You know, in a percentage of the population. And we pretty much had that wiped out because we were giving the kids a shot. You know, when they started school. Hey, look at that! Or when I don't know exactly when they were giving it, but I think vaccines are necessary, but only after they've been through a good testing time.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Ah.
But you know, it's and that's not to be political about it. You know, we live in a society now. You see, and it gave them a chance to control us because we had no answers as to what to do. So here's what they said for us to do, so we could heal. Don't go together. Don't meet in public places. You know, stay away from people. Don't see your relatives. Don't see your children or your grandchildren. Stay at home. Don't spread things. And so they're going, let me think about that. No, it doesn't make sense. Because that's what we do, is we communicate. And what they did was they took away from us our ability to create and have faith and hope in the future. And they created so much hatred and fear. I mean, I lost several friends. Oh, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You know, you can't come to see me. I thought, okay, good. You know, 2 of them are now dead. You know, and then the other one developed sudden heart disease that is slowly killing him. So there's nothing I can do about that. Did it come from the vaccine? I don't know. I'm old. They were old. we have things that happen to us when we get old, but let's let's not play Russian roulette. You know, I'm not interested in that game. So that's pretty much it. And I think healthy eating and proper supplementation, and I think that's the best way to go. And so it's happened. So that's kind of what I do. If I don't say anything else, I'll say NAC. Check out NAC. You'll all love it.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. Well, we have a full show here, so
We do, eh?
we're good. Yeah. Well, David, it has always been a pleasure, and it will continue to. I'm not sure when our next one is, but it'll be somewhere between March and April. And
You'll be letting me know. I know.
I will. All right. Well, you've been listening to News of the Heart. We've been getting the heart of what matters with the new year 2026. And I hope for everyone that we move into being more present and choosing our lives the way we want to live. So thank you, David.
Pleasure.